I ordered the 3 best running shoes and put them to the test so that you don't have to.
Pastor Cody! It's Pastor Cody. Pastor Cody. Pastor Cody.
Okay, so maybe saying the best might have been a little bit of a stretch, but I do have 3 amazing shoes that I want to talk about today. The Asics GT 2000. I've got the Nova Blast 4. And then finally the Asics Metaspeed Edge Plus. But the question is, which one's the best? Check. 1, 2. So let's talk about it. Listen, full transparency, I just got into running the last 3 or 4 months, so I am not a pro by any means. But what I keep finding is as I've gotten into running, I'm looking at what shoes should I get, what's good for what, and it's just I find all these review videos, they'll do 3 or 4 shoes, and by the end of it, they always tell me the same thing. Whatever works best for you, whatever one you like, which is true to a sense, to a degree, but the reality is that means I gotta probably buy all 4 of the shoes to figure out which one works best for me. And I really was just tired of it. So I wanna take these 3 shoes, I wanna really dive into the difference for each of them, what they're good for, and tell you at the end of it which one, just an average person, not a pro, definitely not out here running like sub 3-hour marathons or anything, but someone who's been into it for 3 or 4 months. I'm starting to get into running. I'm not great at it, I'm getting good at it, but I like shoes, and I can tell you which one, from my perspective, I think will be the best for you. So let's jump right into it with the GT 2012s. This shoe is a great shoe. I love this blue color. I want to jump in with the specs first. Let's talk about the specs. How much does it weigh? What's the stack height? So it weighs 9.5 ounces. That is based on a men's size 9. Listen, I wear 10.5 when I run, but when you are looking up all this information about shoes, they base it off of a men's size 9. So we'll go with that men's size 9 for all of these shoes so I can give you a little bit difference. It'll be a little bit heavier if it's a bigger shoe, a little bit lighter if it's a smaller shoe. But 9.5 ounces, 9.5 ounces on the GT 2012. The stack height, it's gonna look like 32.5 in the heel and 24.5 up there at the front edge there. And the stack height, if you're new to running, if you're kind of like me, like what does all this even mean? These are just numbers. And the stack height just kind of plays into the absorption, the shock absorption as you're running. The bigger the stack height, the greater the absorption. Usually that's how that plays out. And then this shoe is gonna have an 8mm drop. And just so you know, as we talk about these drops for the rest of the shoes, the drop just kind of goes to promote different areas. A smaller drop, a lower drop, like an 8 is gonna promote like basically the mid to the forefoot, kind of a strike. If it has a higher or more significant drop, it's gonna promote just a strike with the rear foot. That's kind of what that means. This is an 8mm drop, like I said. That is the specs on this GT 2000. So let's get into a couple of the other things. The feel of it. When I put this shoe on, this shoe felt great. It's definitely super comfortable. A shoe that if you're just like walking around Disney World, it'll do a great job for that. If you're taking daily runs, it's gonna do a great job for that. Cushiony, comfortable, and you're not gonna have any problems with that that feel aspect. The looks of this shoe, man, this shoe looks great, especially in this blue colorway. On some of those clips, I'm watching them back, editing this video, and man, this blue and this green just really stands out. And I definitely think if looks is what you're going for in a running shoe, I don't know if that's exactly what you're going for, but this one does meet that kind of, it looks great kind of a shoe. So all of those are great. The numbers are great. The look is great. The feel is great. But what is the cost? What's the price point? The price point at this shoe is gonna be as low as $102 if you look on Amazon, based on the size that you are and the color that you pick. But the majority of the colorways and sizes on this specific shoe, you're gonna find it at about $130, $140. If you're looking for it, I'm gonna have a link to the shoe in the description below. I'm gonna have all the links to all of the shoes in the description below. So what are my thoughts? What are my overall thoughts? Man, my thoughts on this shoe is it's a great shoe. It's definitely comfortable. It's smooth. It is smooth and it is easy, especially if you're looking for a shoe where you're running 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 miles on the daily, just your daily trainer. It's gonna be comfortable, it's gonna last long, and I think at this price point, you're looking at a pretty good overall shoe. Let's jump into a shoe that's kind of gone a little bit viral based on what your Instagram or your TikTok algorithm is looking like. The Asics Nova Blast 4 has kind of taken the world by storm. This shoe is a great shoe. Now, you might not even recognize this shoe because everybody wears the neon green, but this one, you know, I got this blue, or It's orange. This orange and this black kind of colorway, I thought it was really cool. I wear it to church, I wear it at home, I wear it to go to Walmart sometimes. But let's jump into the specs real quick of this Nova Blast 4. Is gonna be about 9.2 ounces, even lighter than the GT2000 was, which is kind of crazy because the stack height in the heel is gonna be 41.5 millimeters in the back, 33.5 millimeters in the front. Now, when you wear this shoe, you feel like a giant because it's just so tall. It gives you an extra inch or 2 inches than your normal shoe actually would. But it actually provides for such a great cushion as you're running. That stack height really comes into play. It takes a lot of that pressure off your knees, off your joints. And so if you're looking for a daily trainer, I highly recommend this shoe. The drop is the same drop that the GT2000 had. It is going to be an 8 millimeter drop. Again, that's a smaller drop, so you're looking at a mid to front toe. It promotes that mid to front toe kind of strike. What does it feel like? The only word I can describe is it feels amazing. I put this shoe on for the first time and I didn't want to even keep it to myself. I actually had 3 or 4 of my friends who aren't runners try on this shoe because they just need to experience what it felt like, y'all. This shoe is one of my favorite shoes I've ever put on my feet when it comes to comfort and the way that it feels. It feels like you're running through a cloud. It's just a sensation that you're only gonna be able to really understand once you try it for yourself. One of the cool things about this shoe, I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but that rounded front, this little middle piece, I've noticed that as you're even walking or running on it, it just kind of propels you forward. Now, it's made out of this foam rubbery material. It's not carbon plated or anything, but it feels like you get a propelled motion on a comfortable, cushiony shoe. I think that's kind of why this shoe might have gone viral, is because it does feel like it's helping kind of give you that spring, that bounce, but in a shoe that's comfortable and great for a daily trainer. And so when it comes to looks with this shoe, man, some of the colorways on this shoe are pretty cool. You can get an all white, you can get an all black, which are super clean, super sleek. The most popular one seems to be that lime green. They call it lime burst. Seems to be the one that everybody goes for, and that one looks sick. I went for a more tame little bit of contrast with the orange and the black. It's definitely not your, oh my goodness, those shoes are sick when you see them from a distance. In this colorway, but I like them. But what's the price point? The price on these are actually amazing. Bang for buck, you're looking at 140, 150 bucks max. Again, the link for these are going to be in the description below. Check it out for yourself based on the colorway. This one was, I think, a little bit probably $10 more than just the solid colorways. One thing I will say about this shoe is if you don't lace them up tight enough, this tongue can kind of tend to just kind of slip over. So make sure you're definitely getting a tight enough tie when you put these shoes on. So what are my thoughts? I think that this shoe is just an instant legend. I think this shoe will be a shoe that people remember. I think this will be one of those ones where 10 years down the road, you're gonna look back and be like, hey, this shoe reminds me of the Nova Blast 4. So I think you can't go wrong if you find yourself picking up a pair of these Nova Blast 4. Asics did a great job with these. But let's move on to probably the most interesting one in this whole thing. It is the Metaspeed Edge Plus. This kind of is a price point jump. This one comes in at $250, but this one is a little bit different than the rest because this is what you would probably call a race day shoe. It's got a carbon plate on the inside, and so all those other ones, let me kind of show you. You see this? You can kind of bend the toe, and you got that bend like a normal shoe would. But this one, because it's got a carbon plate in it, doesn't quite bend. But what that does is when all that force is on there, it kind of gives you that little propel, that motion, that bounce. This is definitely a race day kind of a shoe. It will just push you forward. It does really well with speed. It's not going to be your everyday runner shoe, your trainer, your daily trainer. And one of the cool things about it, I don't know if you can kind of see that the way it kind of curves right there. What's great about this shoe is as you're running, you definitely feel like you're just like locked in. You don't feel like your heel is slipping up and down. When you can kind of get a little bit more high tempo, high speed, your heel can kind of come in and out, which isn't fun for anybody. But this one really kind of like locks you in. It feels like it just straps you in there and you're there for the ride. Let's get into specs real quick. How much does it weigh? It's got a carbon plate in it. Does that make it weigh heavy? Is it make it lighter? What does it look like? This shoe is going to come in at 7.4 ounces. Now, that is light. That is a whole 2 ounces less than the other shoes. Again, I'm no pro, but that was just kind of crazy to me to feel like when you're holding the shoe, it just feels like you're holding almost nothing. But if you look at the stack, it's a little bit shorter, a little bit less than the others. The stack height is actually 28 millimeters in the back and 20 millimeters in the front. And then if you look at the drop, the other ones were 8 millimeter. This one is gonna be 11.6, which is kind of more of a promotion of that heel striking, and it's just gonna kind of round you out, propel you forward. But I did notice that when you're going at just your normal pace, like a slower pace or easy pace, it's not quite the shoe for that. This shoe is definitely one for like, this is game day. I'm gonna keep my heart rate high and my speed fast. But the feel of this, man, is, like I said, is so different. But it feels good. The looks of it, come on now. You can't go wrong with this all reddish pink kind of color. As I was putting this shoe on and giving it a test, 3 or 4 different people stopped to talk to me about these shoes. These shoes definitely catch people's attention. You see them from a distance and man, you just think, man, those are some sick shoes. Again, don't know if that's what you guys are going for when you're looking at a shoe that's $250, but it doesn't hurt to have a shoe that looks good and feels good and performs good. Definitely cool, definitely clean, definitely simple, gets the job done. So there you have it. We have the GT 2012, we have the Nova Blast 4, and the Metaspeed Edge Plus. So the question I asked at the beginning, which one is the best? And I said, all of these reviewers, they tell you which one's gonna work for you. And that is true. But from myself, a non-pro, someone who's just getting into running the last 3-4 months, I would tell you the best shoe that you can go with is gonna be these Nova Blast 4s. These Nova Blast 4s, man, as you just do research, as you run in them, it's not gonna be your fastest shoe in the world. It's not gonna be your most cushiony shoe in the world, but it's gonna be that perfect balance. It's also coming in at a great price point. Just this entry level $150 is gonna be, you can't really beat it for that price point. And so I would encourage you, if you're getting into running, if you've been into running, the Nova Blast 4 are gonna be the shoe that hopefully are your next running shoe, because these are a pair of great shoes. They're gonna last you a long time. You're gonna be able to put a lot of miles on them, and they're gonna feel great while you do it. So there you have it. Nova Blast 4 would be my recommendation to you for which shoes you should go with in 2024. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead, check out the comment section if you're looking for any of these shoes. The links will be in the description below. And if you enjoyed your time, give it a like. Man, that would go a long way. Help me out, give it a like. And if you want to stick around, if you want to hang out and check out some other videos, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.